Alan, can you make me co-host?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Mhm. Great. Well, I think we have a quorum. Sarah's here.
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Good. So we're missing Julian and Shoshana. Okay. And Brooks is here. Yeah.
Shoshana
good.
said that she has like that downtown planning meeting thing.
Yeah, okay.
I forget
The
what it's
downtown
called.
planning
I'm not
working
making sense,
group.
but she has another meeting.
The downtown planning working group. And Bennett's back. Welcome.
Thank you.
Are you going to take notes?
Yes, I was just opening up that page.
Great. Okay. So Ellen and Brooks, you're off the hook.
Yay.
Shoshana's here. Great. Well, welcome everyone. I'll flash the agenda. I'll share it quickly. No, I guess I can't share it yet. There we go. Try it again. Okay, I will share the minutes. There we go. The agenda. Everyone see that?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing it so I can actually do other things, but just a quick look. So, are there any public comments? There's not much public, except Brooks is sort of in between public and committee. So,
Am I?
all right, good. Yeah, approval of the December minutes. All in favor? Yeah, okay, I think we have a quorum saying yes. Remember, you don't have to have been there. You have to have read it and said, okay, that looks like that's accurate. So good, thank you. It's approved. Hours. Why doesn't everyone send me a oh, we can't do chat on this, can we?
No.
No. Okay. I'll go around then. Ellen, hours.
Maybe 5.
Okay. Bennett.
0. Sorry.
Okay. That's all right. Sarah.
2.
2. Shoshana.
2. Bennett, you
Mm.
should get some credit for this meeting just now too, though.
That's 2.
1.5.
Well, we don't do 0.5s. You're getting 2. All right. We also talked the other day, so that was a bit of committee
Sure.
work. Brooks.
Well, I went and built those wire cages
Okay.
up there, and then this.
Okay, and you worked on the op-ed, or was that?
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I spent a couple hours in total on that.
So 5 or 6
So-
total?
Yeah, I'd say 5.5.
We don't do halves, so okay.
Oh, you don't? Okay, give me 6 then.
Great.
How about 1? Oh, you don't do halves. How about 2?
Okay. And I probably did about 8. And Julian told me how many hours, and I forgot. He can't be here because he's on a flight to somewhere in Europe right now.
Paris, I think he said.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Huh.
I'll have to go back and see what he told me for hours. All right, good. I'll check the agenda again. All right, so the chair's report, bunch of different things. I noticed that Phyllis Lara and the Around Town column, both of those in the Gazette, did not mention our meeting. So it'd be good if someone had that as a job to reach out to them every month with meetings and with plantings and other things we're doing. So that's something, Shoshana, you might do?
I think Julian said he would start contacting them. Or
Okay.
contacting or getting it on the town hall website.
Yeah, he was going to do that, but anyway, it wasn't listed in the paper, so,
I could do that, sure.
okay.
There also,
Sure.
Phyllis, I know, is on our newsletter distribution list, so that's
Hmm.
something.
All right, well, she doesn't take the things off it and do it, so we need a little encouragement. Let's see. I still want to create that job, secretary, note taker sort of job, which Bennett, you're doing as note taker, but at some point, if you want to become the official secretary of the committee, that'd be awesome, or if somebody else wanted to. Shoshana, did the thanks go out to Sugarloaf Nursery?
Yes.
Okay, good. Tree City USA, Alan, did I ever send you our summary?
I did not receive it.
Okay, because I will get that out to you then.
Okay.
I attended a webinar on the 330-300 rule, which this is a way of documenting how much tree canopy there is in towns. And the 3 refers to that every person from their house or apartment should be able to see at least 3 trees. The 30 is that 30% of the town or the neighborhood should have a canopy cover. And the 300 is that every person should live within 300 meters or about a 5-minute walk to a green space. So, I mean, it's just another way of looking at things, but I think it's a useful way. And I think that's something we might be able to do, come up with a research. Maybe Britt, one of your grad students, can research, you know, what percentage of Amherst people can see 3 trees from their housing and things like that. So just keep that in mind for now, but I want to go back to that.
Yeah, that seems like a
Um,
difficult thing to measure, but that's an interesting metric.
Yeah, and the webinar talked about ways of measuring it and how you do it. And they did some randomized sampling of residents in certain neighborhoods to see about the 3 trees. Yeah. Then let's see. A guy from Village Park Apartments, Bill, who often, I forget his last name, he often posts on our Facebook page. He was saying that they cut down some trees in the apartment complex, and he's wondering if there's any law that requires them to plant new ones. So I told him no, but you know, it just sort of reminds me of significant tree ordinances and other things we might be able to do someday. And speaking of that, there's an urban forestry webinar on writing and creating a tree ordinance in town. So I don't know if somebody wants to do that. Julian might be interested in that, but it's this Wednesday at noon, tomorrow at noon. So if anyone's free, let me know. I'll send you the link to that. Okay. And I think that's all that I have. Oh, one more thing. I read in the paper, Hadley has just decided to become a complete streets community. So watch out for trees being cut down in Hadley to widen the sidewalks and bike lanes and everything. But
They don't really have a whole lot of street trees already, you know, like along Route 9. It's just
yeah,
they're in need.
That's true. There's nothing for them to remove, so.
yeah. All right, so that's all I have. Julian's not here. He didn't have much to report though. So next is treasurer's report.
We have a balance of $11,887.35.
No change.
No change.
Okay, good, thank you. Social media report. Shoshana?
I've posted some things of interest for lovers of trees and updates for our meeting. The the notification that I sent out on Facebook for our meeting today got shared by the town of Amherst Facebook page.
Great, okay. And,
And I found that when I shared the announcement with like a cute picture, like this time I shared it with a picture of like a Bob Ross saying with like some trees in the background about trees, like some feel good thing about trees. And it got a lot more likes than it normally does. So,
You know, it might be good if you shared the page on other groups' websites if they let you do that. You might
okay,
want to explore around for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the past, I've shared it on Nextdoor.
Okay, yeah.
But that was more about like our work days rather than our meetings. But
Okay.
no, I could see maybe doing the meetings too.
All right, good. Thank you. Anything else?
No, not really.
All right, Alan, tree wardens report.
Not a lot to report on, just a reminder, I guess, to the committee, you might have already received some notice to do your conflict of interest training. I think you're on the cycle. I'm not sure. Henry, did you receive anything from the town?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I did it yesterday. It's a little bit boring, but it's useful to do, I think.
Did you receive
So
it
they
in
give-
mail?
Email, there should be an email.
Email,
You could
okay.
forward that along to the committee, Henry, and so that
Yeah,
everybody can.
it's an email.
yeah.
So
They
you have
can,
to do it every couple of years.
can't take a gift worth more than $50 without declaring it.
Yeah.
Unless you're a politician, so. you can. Let's see, so there's a lot of talk going on and there's no decision has been made, and I just wanted to make the committee aware of this in case people talk to you, that they're trying to work out the design for managing the traffic at the new Fort River School. It's going to require, the parking lot's the entrance to school is moving. The buses will enter the south end, and the cars and visitors will enter the north end of the two entrances to the school. But they're trying to manage the volume of traffic there to reduce the traffic jams that occur. There's been a fair amount of discussion of widening that stretch of Southeast Street that goes all the way over, sorry, not South. I guess it is Southeast Street there. It goes between Main Street and College Street. And they would take a big chunk out of the East Street Common to do that. So there's a nice elm there and a couple other trees. So just want to make you aware of that. If somebody asks you, there have been no decisions. That design for that project is way down the road. There's no funding for it, but for what it's worth.
Maybe a shame to lose that elm. It's a really pretty elm.
It's a nice elm. It suffered some dieback from drought a number of years ago, and I need to get up there and prune out the dead wood desperately. But it hasn't been injected for Dutch elm disease in over 15 years. It does not have Dutch elm disease as of last year, so it's a survivor. You already mentioned the Tree City USA information. So, obviously photos, copies of articles that have been written, links to social media, topics and things like that can all go into the report that I can put into the application. I did start the application, but it's not finished. I do need to finish that and get that off.
I'm sorry, Alan, what was the name of that application? I just didn't catch it.
That's the Tree City USA.
Tree City USA, okay.
Yeah. So we have to fill that out every year to maintain our status.
If anyone has some photos of some of our plantings or the nursery, please send them to me and I'll include it with the thing I wrote up. I sent out the summary to everyone, didn't I?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I did attend the 2-day tree wardens conference. It was very good. There was a lot of two of the main topics, two of the main presentations were essentially about women in arboriculture and women in urban forestry, history of women in conservation. It was very, very well done. I liked it. Plus a lot of other great information on beech leaf disease. They had the top researchers in the country that are working on beech leaf disease there to discuss their progress. They are making progress in treating it so that hopefully we can, preserve our, significant landscape trees. It doesn't look good for our forest beech trees. There's not going to be much there to protect them. They do, beech roots sucker aggressively when they're under stress like that. So, a forest situation, kind of like the American chestnut, where the chestnut trees will grow for a number of years and then succumb to the blight. The beech might do the same thing until there's some kind of equilibrium in the environment. But the nematode really came out of nowhere. Nobody knows how it got here. I think it came from Japan. They're not sure. But it has spread across the Northeast and spreading across the country at lightning speed. So, yeah, that's about it. Those are the highlights.
All right, thank you. So now we get into the presentations. Second Saturday work days. So we have we made about 60 of those tree trunk protectors. We need to install them. There's no rush, but before the spring mowing season, certainly. So I don't know if we want to wait a little bit and see if there's going to be a warm Saturday or something in March, and then we all go out and do a blitz of putting them up. Anyone have an idea of how to organize that, or should we just wait on that?
Yeah, I'd vote for March.
Okay. Well, let's start figuring out how we can do that. But maybe next month's meeting, we'll talk about that more. 2025 plans, it looks like if we get this grant, we'll do 2 Saturdays planting at whatever the place is called, the boulders. Yeah. We have a few other places possible on the list. So I think we're in good shape for that. Anyone have anything else to say about that? No? Okay. The town tree inventory, is this still the next step? Somebody suggested that, Julian sent an email saying it should be, like, we agree with it, it's good, it should be sent out now.
Yeah, that slipped off my radar. I do need to turn on the public view option on that.
Okay.
I believe, unless it's already on.
Okay. And do we need to?
I don't think it's on because I was looking up a specific tree yesterday and I had to go back to the email to
Okay.
access that. Yeah.
Do
we have to make an official approval, or you can just do it?
No, I can just literally, I got to click a switch on the program,
Okay.
and then and then I need to post that link on the town website so that people can see it.
And send it to me, and I'll send it out to the committee so Bennett can get it in the newsletter and things like that, and you can get it on social media.
That might be maybe we could talk to the Amherst Indie. We have them do a short story on it and get it out that way too, maybe.
The Amherst Indie did reprint my letter to the editor about it, so. Okay. Good. Environmental justice neighborhood planting. So Ellen,
Yeah.
take over.
Yeah, I'm in the intense period of doing the grant. And Alan, I'm gonna have to meet with you separately or talk with you separately about getting all the town budget, and I need an audited budget and the date that it was audited, et cetera, et cetera. But I wanted to use this time to really have the committee input for everything we have to do. Let me just share my screen.
And I'll jump in just quickly. So at 4 o'clock today, I received those documents.
Okay, oh, great.
Yes, ma'am. So I will send those out tomorrow to you when I get back to my office computer.
Excellent, thank you. Let's see, okay. So, this is, it's pretty long. I'm doing a lot of writing, but, I still need a lot more to fill in. So I guess we could just kind of go through it if we want to do that now.
Yes, now is a good time.
Okay. I'm interested in ideas for a title. Right now, I just have this boring environmental justice tree planting in Amherst, Mass. It may just be what it is. It certainly is readily understandable, but if people have ideas, you know, I don't think we want to get too cutesy or anything, but
Right.
I emailed everyone, I think yesterday, about just rewording the mission statement a little bit, just because it was the one on the town website is outdated. And it's also awkwardly composed. So I would like to vote that we accept this version, and we can get into more details later. We're not changing content because I don't want that to me, needs a much larger discussion, and probably the town manager needs to sign off on that. So I'm hoping we can just use this version unless people have any other thoughts on that. The
Well,
organizational history.
Let's stop there for a second.
Okay,
Do people want to approve that? I think we should just approve Ellen's wording for that.
Okay.
okay.
Any comments about that, or? All right, all in favor of approving it? Okay, you got it, Ellen.
Okay, thank you. And then I'm not sure who's going to, I also mentioned in my email that we have to do a lot of work on our website because it's just so outdated, and any grantor considering a grant is going to go right to the website to see what we do. So this will need to be updated along with photos, plantings, a lot of the FAQs need work. So
We can do that through the content management system, Henry, right? Like we can do our own changes to this. Am I remembering this
Yes,
right?
yeah. You go to the page, and then once you have edit on, once you've logged in and put the edit pages on, you can change each page.
I feel like it would be irresponsible for me to pass it on to anyone else.
I can
yeah,
help you with it.
if
It's
you
a
could
big
do it,
job.
it would, I mean,
Yeah.
the two photos, one's from 2011 and the other's from 2013. So if we could get some updated photos, I think it could sound just so much more positive, talking about, all the things that we do. It's just very dry and, as I said, outdated. So I can help you with anything, Bennett, if you need help with
Okay.
writing. I have, I can send you 3 different little, Henry, please remind me what they were. It was like the how to request a tree and about native trees. So I have some of that language that I
Yeah.
can forward to you.
And it needs to be done by the end of the month.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I have to write the organizational history. I'm piecing together many things. It's sort of, it's sort of all over the place. It starts in 1857 and then it's like, I don't know what it's doing for a long century or two. And then it looks like our committee as it stands was founded in 1977 by the, I don't know if it would be town meeting or the select board. But
There was no
Anyway.
select board in 77, so
It would have been, right.
yeah.
So anyway, I'm not gonna go through all of this because this is just rough and I need to fix it up. But I did have a thought that would be really amazing. And maybe it would only be in the contemporary period, like the last 5 years. But if we have any idea of how many trees we have planted in the town, even just a rough estimate, that would be really great to include both here and on the website. So I don't know, I guess Alan or Henry, I'm not sure who could do that math. I don't have, I should have been keeping track at each of our plantings, but I haven't.
Ellen, you're asking specifically for trees planted by the committee?
Yes.
Okay. I should be able to get you a rough number.
Okay, that would be great.
Maybe you include both number planted by the tree committee, but also the number planted by the town as well, because a lot of those are trees that we advocated for. And I don't know if you have the 2000 tree initiative that former town manager John Musanti started, but he did that because of our pushing for trees and pushing for trees. And he said, I want to be the town manager who's known as someone who planted trees, not the town manager who balanced the budget. And that
Okay.
was directly because of our pushing and getting people to write letters to the editor and things about trees. So I
Well,
can
that
write
would-
something about that.
That would be great organizational history to include if you could just
Okay.
summarize that in an email.
Yep.
Thank you.
Or even
Uh,
just including, while the committee of volunteers has planted X number of trees over X, number of years, the town is responsible for the management of whatever the number is, thousands of public or trees in the public way. That might be a way to keep it simple.
And-
Anyway.
Yes, and did our committee, we got the grant for the tree inventory, right? Because that would be something that would be, I think, interesting to include in our history too.
Yeah, look, the committee, helped with creating the supporting the DCR grant for the and then you helped with a couple there's a couple days where we attempted to do tree inventory with the committee, data collecting. So yeah, that could be in there.
Okay, I have the tree inventory and I think Henry's letter, so I can just do, again, it's limited to characters here. It's weird. For the mission statement, they said you can write up to 10 pages, which to me is like, who has a 10-page mission statement? But for
Yeah.
organizational history, I can only have 3,000 characters. So again, this is all going to take some work. I think I have the key management personnel. I need to know everybody's professions and job titles and companies that they work at. So if everybody could please send that information to me. And nobody works for TD Bank, as I believe, right? Because that's also a question. But just, yeah, where you work, and your job title, I think they don't ask for resumes, but they do want to see what everybody's professional background is.
Even if it has no bearing on the grant.
I'm sorry?
The fact that I'm a juggler and Shoshana's a realtor or whatever, I mean, is that relevant?
Anything with an asterisk here, I have to answer. It's required. So yes, I think I don't know why, but we'll have to do it. I wasn't sure if if anybody on the committee identifies as any of the following here, but there's a lot about ethnicity in this grant, and you'll see questions coming up later.
You might be able to maybe speak to some of the demographics of the town.
It's
you
just
know-
a drop down. This is a drop down.
Oh, it's
menu.
like a drop down menu. I see.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
Organization's leadership, yeah.
They want to know our top 5 funders, which I believe is really just the town of Amherst. Is there any other sources of funding?
Well,
other
there's
than that,
the
grants?
federal money that comes down to the state, which comes to the municipality. So there's the taxpayers, tax revenue that the town collects, plus federal and state funding.
DCR grants.
When you look at like Chapter 90 money, is and that's all in the financial audit, I would imagine. It's quite a long
Okay.
document.
We also get money when people cut down trees, Chapter 87 money.
Yeah.
And then some donations.
Okay. Thank you, Alan, for starting this budget. I have to present this in an Excel spreadsheet. But so we're hoping to do 50 trees. And I don't know that they're asking to know which nursery or where we're getting them from. It doesn't look like that, but these are the beginning, I don't know, again, it's not specific that we have to, provide RFPs from any nurseries or anything. So
Okay.
I think we can just sort of do this kind of general budget.
Just one quick comment on the tree size. I think a lot of times people aren't familiar with how that's given. They will think a 2 or 2.5 inch tall
Yeah,
tree.
diameter at breast
Like
height.
diameter.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
might
just
wanna,
Caliper, they measure.
yeah, explain or just say, right, like trunk diameter at breast
Right.
height.
Actually, the industry uses caliper for
Right,
nursery
right.
stock, so it'd be.
yeah, and hopefully they'll just look up
Not
what
that
that
big.
means, but.
Yeah,
I just wanted to point that out because I think that could be confusing to them and they'll think
Mhm.
they're
What's that?
by
Caliper?
very
Good.
small trees.
Okay.
Um, DigSafe is free.
It is, okay, I
Yeah.
was not sure about that. I
And
think
then
we,
I would, yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say throw in $1,000 for shovels, rakes and tools.
okay,
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think I figured 500 because we already have some, but, and I did not add the contingency in here, but I think typically people do 3 to 5% contingency just for things that are unexpected.
Mhm.
Good.
So project description, and maybe this could also go into the budget. Ellen, you had mentioned oak, red maple, and possibly London plane. Are you
Mhm.
still thinking those trees, or can we throw in a 4th species?
We can, yeah. You can put in anything we want.
Okay,
Red maple.
we got red maple.
Oh, we got it. Okay, I missed it.
What would be a great, maybe a native species?
Red bud?
Well, we're looking
Okay.
for shade trees.
Okay,
So
right,
we're-
gotcha.
Yeah,
Tulip
Yes.
poplar.
Sure.
yeah, tulip poplar, I think that was another one I had thought about.
And maybe we should specify the oak because that's not a species. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to put something like a swamp white oak in there, or
Is there a reason why we never go for catalpas?
because landscapers don't like them.
Because they drop big leaves and pods, is that?
Big pods and big leaves, and they get.
Because they
Like,
are big shade trees. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Native.
they're nice native tree. Yeah.
we won't be tied to this. It's just, I think the
Right.
more we, put in, the better it sounds, so.
Yeah.
I think it might be worth, in the project description, I'm not sure if you've got it in there, but that, the committee, they're going to provide the funding to purchase the materials. The committee's providing the labor. The town will be providing equipment to move materials and to do the purchasing of things. But the property owner is going to be, maintaining them, caring for the newly planted trees and, hiring a contractor to do the work. So they're buying, they may not be paying for things up front, but they'll be paying for the
Yeah.
expensive maintenance for the years to come. So,
Mhm.
So committee supplying
Labor.
money and labor. And the town supplying,
we'll
What was it?
provide the support, the logistical support for trucks and equipment and purchasing the trees through our nonprofit status, tax exempt status. Managing that aspect.
okay, I think I'll put, I only get 500 characters for the project description, so I think I have a lot more under here. So needs to be addressed. Is mitigate climate change, and then through community engagement of residents, important to have the buy-in from the residents. Again, this all just needs to be wordsmithed. Kickoff event on Arbor Day, which is Friday, April 25th. Plan to plant in mid-September through mid-October 2025 along the roadways and parking lots, picnic areas and sidewalks. But I think the needs to be addressed, yeah, I can go back and say about how it maybe it was built in the 70s with little to no consideration. Climate change, or really any type of landscaping. But
Very
I
sparse
could
tree
change
planting.
this. Okay, so I'll do that.
I would include what Alan's saying, that there's almost no trees there. It's a
Yeah.
pretty barren area.
Yeah, and I do have that up here a little bit
Okay,
too.
yeah.
So, yeah, but just keep throwing stuff at me. and I can,
So I'm wondering if we need to say or kind of talk about how we get the residents aware of this and interested in this. Because I think that's a critical piece for me, is that
Right.
people are like excited that, there's
Yeah.
going to be some trees in their community.
The management company is going to send an email out. We send them an email, they'll forward it to all the residents.
Okay.
Yeah, you could say something like, in partnership with the management company, we plan to engage in a concerted community engagement. Well, don't say that because it's redundant, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
there are ways
Good.
to speak the language.
yes, through community engagement of residents. But yeah, I think I need to put more in here about education. And
Yeah, like
maybe-
if they get an email and maybe we'll get a few people who are interested in this, what would they do? Like would we have a meeting for them? Would they be able to
Mhm.
contact us and say, what is this all about? Why do we need
Yeah.
trees or whatever?
I think that's sort of the idea of this, if we do it on Arbor Day or somewhere around that time. So we will hear about if we get the grant in March, by the end of March. So the thought is around Arbor Day, we could have some type of, I think we might want to do 2 community meetings. There's over almost 800 residents there. Obviously not everybody will participate, but many of them are college students and they'll disappear in May. Um, so, you know, we might want to have some casual get-togethers, let them know about the project, what the plans are, answer questions. You know, maybe we could plant one tree there on
Yeah.
Arbor Day as sort of a symbolic, you know, this is what is to come.
Yeah, I maybe have some kind of like little kind of fair thing, like sell lemonade and Henry can juggle and something that'll draw people, you know, out of their apartments for a second or as they're going by. What's this all about? And, you know, that's just a thought, but
Yep, yep.
Ellen,
And
I was thinking, most of those kids, if there are any, elementary age children there, they probably go to Crocker Farm. We could think about doing
I don't know if
either
the-
a school event, to talk about tree planting and make it a fun one, give away some seedlings maybe. Um, Henry, where somebody could do some child activities at the school, or we could see if the building wants to do an Arbor Day event there specifically for kids, where we will, engage them in the benefits of trees and planting trees in various ways. In that case, get the parents involved through the kids.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
kids, I have 3 kids at Crocker, so I know that world well and can connect us.
Great.
Britt, didn't you write a children's book about a tree? Or is that not done yet?
That one comes out in September. So it's not done.
Okay. Because if we're gonna
I
do
mean, it
some
is
sort of-
done, but it's not out.
not published, yeah. If we're gonna do some sort of children's event, if we had some sort of book or like, read aloud some sort of
Yeah.
something about trees and then a little craft activity, something that could be a good way to like engage.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, maybe it was for Arbor Day, but there's Aaron Becker
Mhm.
lives in Pelham and he has a book called, I think it's called Tree of Life. That could be an interesting one. He has an elementary school age kid at Pelham and we've never tapped him to do anything. That might be, and I mean, he's like a big name. I think there are lots of possibilities. Like there are so many books about trees and so many authors around here that we'll find,
yeah. And to answer Brooke's question, we'll also encourage the residents to help us plant.
Yay,
Yes.
that'd be great.
All right.
Okay. All right. So project goals and outcomes. So please provide the measurable goals and outcomes. So obviously, we would bring trees to the neighborhood, but I don't know, again, this outcome measurement,
Yeah.
it's
I think
hard.
one thing that could be really powerful for this, Ellen, is I forget what it is. It's that tool where you can calculate, like how much CO2 a specific tree of a certain size can sequester and like how much water is absorbed. And so like if we could say, okay, we're going to plant X number of oak trees and X number of this tree, and then extrapolate out like 30 years and say in 30 years, these trees that we are planting today with this money are going to be sequestering this amount of carbon and, providing like these very quantifiable ecosystem services and public benefit. I think that would be really powerful.
Mhm, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
The app is iTree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks.
It's
Um,
iTree. Okay.
and
We could, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
do we want to commit to following up on these trees, like coming back and doing an iTree measurement in 5 years or something like that? And we could then, we'll extrapolate now of like, this is what it could be, but then we can follow up in 5 years
Yeah.
or so, and see, get some real data to.
I think that's the kind of thing that funders like.
yeah, that would be neat. I wonder if there's any way to calculate temperature differences.
Yeah, like mitigated urban heat island impact.
Yeah, like just,
don't
if you're
understand.
under these trees, how will that be different than if there were no trees, which there are now, and you're standing there, in July?
Could we also do that 330, 300
Yeah,
metric that Henry mentioned earlier, like a before and after of like from whatever number percentage of apartments you can't see any trees and now you can see 3 trees and like, have use that data
That's
as an
exactly what I was
immediate
gonna
like
say, yeah.
on the
Good.
very day, right? Like before we plant, it's these are the numbers, and then after we plant, the numbers will be different.
Good.
That's great. These are all really great. Yeah, I mean, most of where Alan, initially has thought about planting is along the sidewalks and throughout the parking lots, because they are just wide open and so that idea of the heat island and the boiling cars and all those things. Okay.
Well, I think the simplest measurement that we're gonna be able to do is how many trees are still alive in 5 years. Unfortunately, so I don't know if we
Yeah.
want to include that, but
I wouldn't include that.
Okay.
okay, yeah. But that, in other words, we're saying we're gonna pursue this to make sure that the trees have long-term, survival too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Something about that.
right. That sounds more positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the committee and property owners maintain
Yeah.
responsibility for the long-term well-being of the trees.
And we do follow up, like we do like pruning and maintenance days on previous plantings, so this could be included in one of our future work days.
Good.
Oh, we keep doing that. Okay, so project goals and outcomes and outcome measurements. So maybe some of these will fall under outcome measurements, and maybe more of the project goals is about the people. Okay. How these outcomes can be achieved and measured. Please provide detailed information about how evaluation methods and other indicators of success. Okay.
This might be the place to like get into the actual iTree app and reference back to what you kind of lay out generally in the one before.
Yeah, okay.
I'm wondering with this outcome measurement, maybe this is too complicated, but I think it would be interesting to ask the residents, like, after we've planted the trees, are you happy with what happened? Do you have any comments about this project?
Yeah.
Could we do some sort of
Unfortunately, a lot of the residents are not long-term.
Yeah, I know.
So I think we can write it in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could like follow up in the fall or something, and maybe we get new people too, but they also could comment like, yeah, it's good that there's some trees planted now.
Mm-hmm.
Help plant on that line.
So the ongoing funding plan is that the property management company will absorb the costs. Maybe I could say that the committee could check in annually, just see how it's going or something, but it's really not going to be because it's on private property.
Right.
Okay, so confirm partners and funding. I have the NBM group, the town of Amherst, and then Alan, you had mentioned DEI or CRESS.
Yeah, so as far under the town of Amherst, you obviously have Public Shade Tree Committee, DEI Department, the CRESS Department, and Amherst Police Department have all offered up their services for this, to either participate in the planting itself or to help with organizing and information public outreach.
We may want to ask the bid,
It'd be the
Join us.
chamber.
the chamber, yeah.
I mean, they're businesses, you know, the bids downtown specifically, the chamber covers, you know, multiple towns. But yeah. Survival Center could be another one, kind of opposite ends of town, but
I think this looks good so far. So beneficiary outreach, maybe this is where some of the information will grow. Please describe how you ensure you engage the communities you selected. Right, I said we will engage Boulder residents in all phases of the project, from hosting initial information meetings, identifying site locations, to planning and educating interested individuals and families on tree care. And that we, or more likely Alan, will train the landscaping staff on proper watering schedules, mowing hazards, pruning standards. And I'll have to ask the the person on site. They ask a lot about the ethnicity of all the residents. And these are absolutely required, so I have to find out. I don't know that she necessarily has that information, but I guess she can give me a rough estimate. They also want to know the age group.
have you looked at the state environmental justice website and how it breaks down that section of town?
I have looked at it. Does it do it? But I thought it was more based on economics than ethnicity.
No, they have, they do break it down into percents.
Oh,
And
okay.
then
So
by income too. So it's amazingly looks detailed. You can really dig down into it. I think I bookmarked it on my computer at work. The
okay.
section I was in. So
Okay, I'll check that out. It's the state environmental justice map. Is that what it's
Yes.
called? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you think of anything else, there's a lot more that has to be done, but I just thought as a committee and group, these were the main points I pulled out. So thank you very much. And please send me your professional information. And I'll stop sharing my screen for now. The grant is due at the end of the month on the 31st. And it seems okay. Moving along. It took a long time to get into the portal. It was very complicated because of the town of Amherst not being registered as a 501c3. And anyway, we're past all that now, so.
Ellen, might be
It
that
worked.
census data would have, it breaks down by blocks. You might be able to get, or I'll actually do
Oh.
some research on that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think you want to mention like the turnover.
I know.
The census data might not necessarily reflect who is living there in 2025, but it would be, an approximation of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, why it's designated as an environmental justice neighborhood is a little tricky to me, but I mean,
It's
the state,
the income. I mean, Amherst, if you look at Amherst, if you look up like food deserts, you look up anything like this in state level data, it's or national level data, it's because students report a low income.
right.
All right.
Of
Thank
course,
you
it's
so
not
much,
quite
Ellen.
as many, it's not quite as many families and like permanent residents as I would like. But I don't think we'll just leave that part out.
Thank you so much, Ellen. That's a ton of
Sure.
work. Yeah.
thank you, Alan. That is amazing. You're doing a great job. And you stuck
Thanks.
with it through that really frustrating kind of breaking through the first level there. So
Yeah,
Nice
they
to
don't
know.
provide much support.
All right. Deep breath. And we'll move on. Brooks' letter to the op-ed letter. Has people read it and sent any comments in?
I gave Brooks my comments and I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, and I think I sent it to you with the amendments,
Mhm.
Henry.
Yeah, yeah, I liked how it went. So do we want to approve sending it as a committee? Julian really wanted that to happen rather than just from Brooks.
I think
Everyone agree?
Do we want to pull it up again, just so we can all review it, refamiliarize ourselves with it? I might have it.
Let me see.
Op-ed. Is this it?
See who can get to it first.
I think I have it.
Op-ed.
I can share it. Is this it?
I don't know, Brooks, do you have the latest edition with the things that
Is
we
this it?
added? Oh, there we go.
Is this it?
I think this is it.
Amherst Public Shade Tree Committee.
Okay.
Is this the whole thing, 3 paragraphs?
I
Yeah, okay.
do have one observation. I don't know, it's not a, I believe that there are buildings downtown where we don't have space in front of the buildings. But in front of Kendrick Place, which is on the corner of Triangle and East Pleasant Street, the East Pleasant Street side has an extremely wide tree belt that was intentionally designed for trees, with lots of trees growing that will become big shade trees. So that's not a good example. The one, I think it's 1 East Pleasant Street is the first one, and they left this tiny little grass belt. There's another building on Spring Street, which again, right up against the curb. We're picking on our Archibellico group here, but
I
that's because
know.
he's been doing most development downtown. But you know, I don't want to pick on him because he actually is very good to work with, and he really put a lot of money into where he could plant trees and leave space for trees. So let's
wanna just-
Kendrick Place on Triangle Street side has no space for trees. There's no tree planting room on the Triangle Street side of that building.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's where you really observe the sidewalk up against the building. You really feel like you're in a very urbanized environment there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just be
Take out
careful
one-
with that one. You could word it so that it says Triangle Street, not East Pleasant Street. That would be the only thing.
At recent apartment complexes on Triangle Street
Yeah,
and Spring Street, or just take that out?
you could say Spring Street. Yeah.
So Triangle Street and Spring Street. Okay.
Yeah. I guess yeah. If you said East Pleasant Street, you could include, you wouldn't have to name Kendrick Place as the building, but you could, people will know what they're talking about with 1 East Pleasant and I think it's 11 East Pleasant, which is the next big building he built. So he did squeeze trees in there, but they're not going to be long-lived trees. So.
Well, if we approve it in general, you can tighten it up, Brooks. Unless we need
Okay.
more comments.
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
I just noticed that Julian had sent me a slight amendment to that
Mm.
first sentence there, which is not included in this. He said it should say zoning regulations should be written and amended to preserve frontage space so that it is adequate for mature trees in downtown and village centers.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
That's, we can add that, yeah.
Do you want to take over from this, or should we work off of this document? Or you have this document, Brooks?
Just to be sure, what can you send this to me again, just to be sure, and then
Sure.
I'll put in Julian's sentence there too.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you tighten it up and then send it back out to the committee for a quick redraft, but let's
Yeah.
give approval now to sending it out in the name of the committee. All in favor? Okay,
And then would I send that when it's complete, send it back to you, Henry, or send it, where am I sending it?
send it to the, the Hampshire Gazette. There's a
Okay,
form you fill out online and you put
yeah,
it in
yeah,
there.
I've done those, yeah, so,
And then list all of our names.
okay,
Yeah, and say Amherst Public Shade Tree Committee at the bottom. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Good. All right, we can move on. Nursery expansion, next steps, anything to talk about today, Alan?
I actually received the Bear Root Nursery catalog for this year's orders, so I'll review it and see if the species that we voted on purchasing are available, and I'll put in the order to expand the nursery.
Great. Okay. And Tree City USA, we talked about that. I'll send out the list of what I wrote to everyone and you can review it quick and then I'll get it to Alan. And any photos, any of the things I missed, please send me that. Bee City and Town Hall Garden, anything new on that?
Nothing new on my end.
Okay.
I'm still waiting to hear back from the town council. They've passed the resolution draft around several times and then, you hear and then it's like silence for a month. And so still waiting.
The Merry Maple Table.
It's right behind me. It's right over there.
Keep
Still there.
enjoying it until we can get it somewhere. Website, well, that was incorporated. We're going to start working on all that stuff. State level initiatives, nothing new there. Significant tree ordinance, anything new?
No.
Sarah, you still there?
Yes,
Sure.
nothing new.
Oh, okay, there you are. Except that if anyone wants to watch that webinar tomorrow at noon, that'd probably be useful. All right. Anything else we haven't discussed that we need to talk about? Yes, Britt.
I just want to mention one thing. So, one of the things I do at UMass is I'm the UMass connection for something called Massachusetts Envirothon, which brings many hundreds of high school students from around the state to compete on things related to environmental science, including forestry. But they come to UMass for a workshop every year or a series of workshops. And this year their topic is forest stewardship, resilience for a changing climate. And so this is happening in March. And basically it means that 200 to 300 high school students will arrive on campus, and we at UMass will have a series of workshops available to these high school students to help them think through this topic. And I thought that since it's about trees, including urban forestry. It might be something that would be interesting for the committee to engage with. And like DCR is the main sponsor of this, actually. And a way to get, young people back into their communities in Massachusetts, talking about like, hey, who's our tree warden? Do we have a tree committee? What's going on in our own community? So I just wanted to bring that up. It's not until March, but if anybody's interested in talking more about it, just let me know.
Yeah, I'll give you a call about that. Great. Okay, anything else? Well, thanks. I think this was a really good meeting. We got a lot done, and Ellen, you're amazing. I want to reiterate that. So, yeah.
We'll see. Let's see
Yeah.
if we get the money, then you can say I'm amazing.
And Ellen,
Even-
I'm happy to like take multiple editing passes, like when
Oh,
you
thank you.
tired of it and say, I can't look at this anymore. Like if you want to send it over, I'm happy to push it
Thank
along.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I may take you up on that. We'll see. But yes, if everybody could send me their information and Alan send me the town budget stuff,
Yes.
and Henry, if you could send me a little write-up about Musanti and his
Yeah,
wanting to be
okay.
the tree mayor or tree. What
Yeah.
what was he
He
then?
wants
Was
to be the town
town
manager who was known as the one who planted trees,
okay.
not balance the budget. Yeah.
Right.
I like
Ellen, I'll
tree
send you
mayor,
some
though.
more ideas for the title of the project. I sent you one bad one earlier today, and I'll send you some better ones.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great, everyone. Enjoy the rest of this winter. Not much skiing, but maybe skating. And I've started pruning my trees here, so spring will be here. Yeah.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay.